Trendy Tree, and today we're going to make a wreath using, hello y'all.
It says hey.
Oh, hey y'all. Hey, maybe we use that. We're undecided. You know, we start a project and we really never know exactly what we're going to use till we finish. But we think that we're going to use this denim mesh.
We know we're using this.
We know we're using that. It's a 10-inch wide, and this is a combination product that's got some jute and some polypropylene and some foil. So we're going to do the ruffle technique, and it's going to take 2 rolls. It won't take all of 2 rolls, but most of 2 rolls. And we picked out about 3 different ribbons, a couple of 2.5 and a 1.5 inches. And this cute, that is a Halloween spray.
It is. They're small.
But it's so cute, and the butterflies are so colorful. So we're going to use that, even though it's, quote, a Halloween spray. We're going to make a fall wreath. And this is what's called a bittersweet bundle. And it's actually a bundle of sprays taped together. It's 4 sprays, and we're just going to take those apart. That's ribbon left over from another project there. And this is a burlap pencil wreath, and please don't pay any attention to this wreath. We've used this wreath
probably for 4 or 5 years.
Several times, so it's really pretty nappy looking, but anyway, it will serve the purpose. All the supplies are from Trendy Tree, and we'll give you the SKU of all the items that we're going to use. The first thing we're going to do is cut our mesh, though. We're going to cut 10-inch lengths of our mesh, and since we're cutting, it's going to take 2 rolls of the same type. We're going to cut 2 rolls at the same time. This is what's called a self-healing cutting mat. We used to sell these on Trendy Tree, but we don't anymore because you can get it on Amazon, and we'll give you an affiliate link. And the cutter that we're using is a Fiskars, whatever, a 60mm rotary cutter. And there again, we used to sell these on Trendy Tree, but we can't compete with Amazon on that, so I'll give you an affiliate link. Now, since we are using 2 rolls of the same color, we're going to cut 2 rolls at the same time, and we're going to cut 10-inch length pieces. The mesh is 10 inches wide and 10 yards long.
For some reason we're backwards. That's bad. Something's
Maybe that's
wrong.
why. Okay.
Hit me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And if you do the math, we'll plan on putting 3 ruffles into each twist, and there's 18 twists on a roll. 18 twists on a, I think my blade needs tightening up. 3 layers, 3 ruffles to a twist, so 18. So 18 times 3, whatever that is, I think it's 50 something. There should be, you'll have a little bit of mesh left over, but not much.
You want to do ruffles or curls?
Ruffles.
Okay.
So to make a ruffle, you take a piece of mesh and just let it roll up naturally, like that, and then turn it over. Spread it out, and you want to gather up through the center. You want to gather along your cut edge and not your selvage edge. Do you know what selvage is?
I thought it was a store.
Salvage. This is selvage.
Must be.
Pinch it together, sort of looks like a little bow tie. And I'm going to take one ruffle and take the other ruffle and kind of lay it on top, but kind of angle it a little bit so they're just not stacked right on top of each other. Going to take 3 and I'm going to angle that 3rd one. And then I'm just going to start on the outside and open up a twist and lay that cluster of 3 ruffles down and secure that twist with a couple of turns. Excuse me. And then we're going to do that. We're going to put a cluster of 3 ruffles in each twist. Now, all mesh ravels, I think, you know, this with this little bit of jute in it, I don't think it ravels as much as just regular polypropylene mesh, but it ravels. Now, we have experimented with Elmer's Craft Bond Spray Adhesive and sprayed these ruffles, sprayed the wreath after we finished, and that does seem to help, but just know you're going to have to clip some strings when you get through. But we're just going to work all the way around the wreath, adding a cluster of 3. Where's your little clip at? Sometimes if you're working by yourself, you can hold your ruffle in a chip clip or something like that, you know, so that, and sometimes I hold one between my fingers like that. Can't help it if you're not as
I'm not as
agile.
nope.
Oh, and I'll show you, I made a hanger for the wreath just using a couple of zip ties. This wreath form has seen its better day, but it won't, it won't really matter. We make things and take them apart here and reuse them again, especially for our tutorials. No point in using a brand new wreath form every time we make a tutorial.
Wasteful.
Save that money.
Right.
So if you're making a wreath for yourself, you know, that's one good thing about this kind of wreath form. You know, if you're tired after this season is over with, you can take your wreath apart and get something more mesh and new ribbons and make a new wreath and use your same old wreath form. And it doesn't really matter if you start on the inside or outside, just whatever works better for you. And this is a 24-inch wreath. The metal ring, I dropped it, I'm sorry. The widest metal ring only measures 15 inches. But by the time you put your mesh, ribbon, or whatever else you're going to use on your wreath, you wind up with a wreath that measures, you know, 24 inches or greater. Well, I took your clip away from you. I don't know if that foil is supposed to be silver or champagne. It's kind of.
I think it said champagne.
I think it does.
I don't know. I just thought it would be a
Well,
little.
it does. It the more you look at it with the burlap, it has a more of a gold look. But it is. I believe it's champagne. Okay, now that is the last cluster to go on the outer ring. So now we're just going to move up to the inner ring. That's what it looks like so far. We're just going to go to the next twist on the inner ring. Same, a cluster of 3 ruffles, just the same. Oh, I missed one. No, it's at the top. My ties have gotten where they kind of slip and slide a little bit. This wreath has been used so much, but it won't really hurt anything. If you wind up with a tie that's loose and slipping around on the ring, by the time you add your product in, it won't hurt. And if you pull one side of the twist off, I mean, you can always just use a little piece of floral wire or a chenille stem.
Just rewrap it to the frame.
You can. But the ruffle technique is one of the easiest to do, especially for beginners, because all the pieces are the same length, so it will come out nice and even. Makes it a little bit easier than doing the poofs where you have to measure, and sometimes, you know, you can get one too big or too little, but this way they're going to all be the same. Really helps when you're working. Have a helper.
Helper.
And this style of wreath may take you a little longer than doing a poof technique, but like I say, it has its advantages. They're all, some people like these better, some others don't. It doesn't matter. if you're doing the poof technique on a 24-inch wreath, we usually use a 21-inch mesh. And I would never advise to split a 21-inch mesh to make 10-inch ruffles because you just have more cut edges.
Is that the last one?
That's the last one.
And we got extra.
Oh, okay, we cut too many. It's all right.
Oh.
I may have missed one here and there. I'll check it. We don't usually cut enough. Okay, it looks pretty even though. Sometimes you can look at it from the back and see if you missed one or not.
Oh, there's one.
Okay, there's one we missed. There you go. Eagle eye.
Got it. Why do you make so much noise?
I don't know, I sound like a mouse.
You do, but I mean,
scurrying
you
across.
working so hard. Come on, go slow.
But that's what it looks like with a cluster of 3 ruffles in each twist, and already it measures, that's about 26 inches right there. Next we're going to add these Raz butterfly sprays, and the butterflies are very colorful and they're wired. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 3 sprays and add around to the center of the wreath, and I'm just going to go in on top of where my ruffles are, and I'm not going to cut the ends of the sprays just yet. I'm going to tuck those to the inside, but I'm going to secure the spray with the twist. So I'm going to undo the twist, and I'm going to just work that end down through the ruffles till I get it to the back of the wreath form. And then I'm going to secure the spray back, secure it with the twist. So this time I'm going to turn my twist 3 or 4 times. Now, what I'm going to have to do to make them stay in position, I will have to go to the back and take the ends of those sprays and zip tie them, but I'm going to secure my spray in a couple of places. So I'm just going to kind of work it down till I get to the next twist, undo that twist, and kind of lay that spray down. Be careful not to catch up the butterflies, and secure that twist back again. And we can kind of at the end, we can kind of lift out the butterflies. So I'm just going to put 3 around the inner part. And when I'm done, I'll look at the back of my wreath and I'll secure those ends of the sprays to the work wreath frame. And you can cut your sprays and work them that way, but this is not a real big spray, so I really don't think we need to cut it. But plus, if you do it this way, if you decide you want to pull those sprays out and use them for something else, you can. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to put some on that outer ring, but I'm going to try to position the sprays. If I've got like a butterfly right here, then I'm going to come around and put my next spray there and just kind of try to evenly place them out. So I attached one to the outside, and I'm just going to skip a space and just go on around and add another spray. And I'm just taking the end of that spray and kind of tucking it to the inside of the wreath. And And like I say, we'll flip it over in a little bit and look at the back and see what we need to do with those ends. Of course, we don't want our spray to pull out. Chances are it's not going to come loose unless you pull it out.
True.
But if you don't undo your twist and take it down to where, you know, you have to open that twist up. Otherwise, the things that you'll attach will be too far out on your wreath and they'll be loose. I think with these butterflies, I think we don't need to do any ribbon strips. You think?
I don't think so.
We were thinking about ribbon strips, but I may just do a bow for this wreath. I really like these sprays.
I did too. I picked them out.
Yeah, didn't you? You get credit for that.
Of course.
Well, you don't think about butterflies for Halloween, but
No?
I like it. I think the black makes them just stand out, makes them just pop.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Sometimes you have to hang it on the wall to kind of decide if you've got enough on it or not. But of course we can position these a little more, but I think that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to flip it to the back, and as you can see, and always with the ruffle wreath, some of your ruffles will turn to the inside, and you just have to push those back out to the outside. But I'm going to show you a little trick how to help keep those ruffles all out this way and not keep them from rolling back. If you'll take on the outer ring, take the twist, and then just kind of work your fingers up here to a twist on the inner ring and just kind of pull those up and kind of twist them together. Since we're not going to be using anything else in these twists, I'm just going to twist those together and I'm just going to tuck those ends to the inside of the wreath. Fluff my ruffles back out, and that will help that ruffle from rolling to the back. And if you get to a place where there's not a twist to get a hold of, you can just take that twist and secure it to the inner ring. You can do that also. Just wrap those ends of that twist around the metal. We're just going to clip a few strings before we go any farther. Oops. And I think it does help if you clip instead of pulling. Sometimes you just get more strings to pull. Of course, the more you handle your mesh, the more strings you'll get too. Alright, that's probably good enough for now. Now, you can just kind of take those butterflies and kind of, oh, before we do that, let's flip it on the back and look at any like the ends of the spray that's sticking up like that. We want to take that in and just kind of attach it to the work wreath frame with a zip tie. You do that and then just snip off the end of your zip tie with wire cutters. Let's see, there's another one right there. Always check the back of your wreath to make sure that you don't have any wire places that might scratch your door or your wall. You can cover those up with a little piece of tape if you need to, or like if it's the end of your zip tie, kind of roll it to the inside. There's one. Now, we're going to go back and kind of pull out our butterflies, sort of make them stand up a little bit, separate them in case you've got any that's gotten kind of smushed down in the ruffles. And next we're going to take our spray that, okay, it was a bundle of 4 sprays, so I just took the paper off of it, and what we're going to do is take 3 of the sprays and have them at the top, and 1 of the sprays coming toward the bottom. Hold that wreath up.
Oh, let me find the
hanger, and then we're going to like position that bundle. I think we'll put the whole bundle together over there and put a bow on that. And I think with the butterflies, I don't think we need any ribbon strips. Okay?
You may hang this.
Hang it up and get it out of the way, I guess. So on these, I think that we do need to cut some of these stems off. Cut about 6 inches off of each stem.
There.
Yeah. These are thick stems. Our new wire cutter hasn't
It's
come
coming.
in, has it?
It's in Chicago. It's on the next shipment.
Okay, so I'm going to just, we need some zip ties for this, but we're going to put this bundle of sprays together and just zip tie it together. We want our bow to cover it up. Good. Is that too low? Does that need to come up a little more?
It's just a little bit.
Do I need to cut those off a little more, maybe? Well, cut another 2 inches off of those.
Sure. Oh, I think it got thicker at the top.
Yeah, I think it did. I'm sorry. Those are our heaviest wire cutters too. Okay. Of course, we're going to have our bow to cover that up too. So that, okay, now then, is that more better?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to put a couple of zip ties around that. Just
It's backwards. No, you got it.
okay. Yeah. Catch that short end.
Get it?
I've got my thumb on it right there. There we go. Okay. Cut those. And of course that part's going to be covered up by the bow. And then I'm just going to kind of bend one of the sprays to come into the inside. Of course we can do that after we get it attached to the wreath.
Both?
But I think we could just attach, put the bow on this and attach it all at one time. So there's our floral spray. We used 3 pieces on one end and 1 on the bottom and just attached it in the center with some zip ties. And then we're going to make a bow. We chose 3 different ribbons. One is an ivory with a copper or orange dot. It's 2.5 inch. And this has got like a shiny orange edge. It's got some green in it, 1.5 inch. And then this copper that's 2.5 inch. So we need a zip tie. So we're just going to start picking up the ribbons and find your center point, and we're going to make a 6-inch loop. And I have a marker here on my table, and just pinch it together and have your loop 6 inches. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and hold a tail to the back, which will be right side up, and a tail to the front. I'm going to make sure that I do that with each loop that I add. just helps me keep up with it for later. Tail to the back and a tail to the front, and we're just going to kind of alternate the ribbons as we pick them up. Keep those loops the same. It won't really matter if your tails are not the same, but you do want to keep your loops all the same, whether they be 5-inch loops or 6-inch loops. Wait a minute. Lost a tail. Hang on. I've got one and a tail, and then I got that and a tail, and a copper and a tail. I've got 2 of those. There's my tail. Wait a minute. Let me keep it straight. Okay, so I've got okay. Loop to the back, or tail to the back, tail to the front. It gets pretty bulky. It's a handful.
Almost.
And if this is the first time you've made a bow like this, you might want to just try it with 3 or 4 loops to start with and practice with some inexpensive ribbon. So now I have an even amount of tails to the back and an even amount of tails to the front. So I'm going to try to hold my tails, but I'm going to go ahead and put my ribbon around, not my ribbon, my zip tie around my loops. I did it. And before we pull that zip tie tight,
No, it's backwards.
okay. But that zip tie is just going around the loops.
Tight.
Not tight. I want to slide my chenille stem under that zip tie, and that'll be my a thing that I can attach it with. Now pull the zip tie tight. I have to let go of it for you to get it tight as you can get it. Okay? Alright, go ahead and cut that off. Now, I've got those tails to the back and the tails to the front. So I'm going to take my chenille stem and I'm going to go under those tails to the back and just pull that chenille stem together again and twist it. So now I've got my bow and I've got the chenille stem on the back to attach it. So you can just kind of lay your bow down and fluff out your loops. We just kind of angle the ends of the ribbon as we were cutting it. Make sure all your, make sure all your tails are facing in the right direction, right side up. Okay, all right. Now then, we're going to take our spray. There's our bow. I like it.
Looks good.
And we're going to take the chenille stem and secure it to the spray. And I'm just going to give that a couple of turns on the underneath side.
You want the wreath?
And then, well, let's kind of figure out where we're going to place it. Right along there. And I'm going to use the chenille stem. I'm just going to kind of work my fingers down and I'm going to secure the bow directly to the work wreath frame. And since this is kind of a long like piece, I may have to attach the bow, and then I may have to come back with a little piece of wire and attach the spray, you know, closer to the top of the wreath too. Okay, so we attached the bow and the spray, and I just attached it. I think you can see that orange chenille stem. I attached it to the work wreath frame. Now, once you hang it up, if your spray if it's like it's a little wanting to lean out that way, you can take a little bit of floral wire and just attach it to the work wreath frame. Fluff out all your ribbons, get all your butterflies where they show up good. Some will be hidden, you won't be able to see them all. And go back and clip your strings. That's it.
That's it.
I like it. What did you call this?
Bittersweet.
Oh, okay.
Bittersweet bundle.
A bittersweet bundle. We have a bittersweet.
Oh, we have a spray.
But this is
but
a
it's
bundle. Okay. But we'll give you the list of all the supplies. They all came from Trendy Tree, and we're going to clip the strings too. We'll go back and do that. And that's it. Thanks for dropping in. Be sure and subscribe to our channel, and follow us on Facebook too, because we do a lot of Facebook Live. And that's about it, huh?
That's all we know.
All right. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3.
It looks like it's moving.
You see it?
I think I see something. I see something dancing.
Got your glasses on.
Well, it's not that. It's, yeah, I see it.
We need a cameraman. Where is our cameraman?
Good luck.
Oh, wait. Crooked? That make it worse?